Welcome to CU Sports Mag. I'm Alex Doyle, and alongside me is the lovely Ansley Guthrie.
Oh, thanks, Alex. I think you're just being nice to me since this is our last show.
That may be true, but it could also be because allergy season is in full swing. Because, allergies.
Sure, if you say so. Anyway.
Sports!
Yes, we have updates on lacrosse, football, and women's basketball all coming up.
So stay tuned and let's get started.
The CU women's lacrosse team did something that they haven't done in the past 6 seasons. They finally beat the Stanford Cardinal with a score 13-8 in the final home game of the regular season. The Stars aligned for the Buffs on Senior Day as they improved to a 12-1 overall record while ranking 5th in 2 national polls. CU had standout performances from Joanna Fusco, Darby Kiernan, and Paige Songson. Fusco and Kiernan both scored 4 goals apiece, while Songson recorded 7 saves in front of the net. Even though the Buffs came out on top, Stanford put up a hard fight, scoring first 46 seconds into the game. But CU bounced back and took the win for their last conference game in the MPSF as they will be moving to the Pac-12 next season.
Now that the team is done with their regular season, they are excited to hit the road for 3 straight weekends. Those games will be starting this Friday and Sunday in Southern California against number 9 USC and San Diego State. The Buffs will face the Trojans tonight. Both teams are undefeated in the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation play, with USC boasting a 5-0 record while the Buffs have a 4-0 mark. Opening draw for the game is scheduled for 6 p.m. Mountain Time. The Buffs are then scheduled to take on the San Diego State Aztecs on Sunday at 1 p.m. Good luck, ladies.
The women's lacrosse team may not really need that luck, though, because their rankings have held strong this week. There was no change in any of the polls. The team currently ranks 5th for both the Cascade Inside Lacrosse poll and the Nike Lacrosse Magazine poll. And the Buffs are 6th for the IWLCA Coaches poll. Maryland's lacrosse team currently has first place in all 3 of those polls.
The women's lacrosse team isn't ready to say goodbye to their seniors. In fact, the seniors aren't ready to say goodbye either, and that's understandable. This group of seniors arrived at CU 4 years ago and became the first ever class to play varsity lacrosse for CU. With no upperclassmen to show them the ropes, this group was forced to figure it out as they went. Their commitment to the program has paid off, and they now rank number 5 in the nation in a pair of national polls.
The women's golf team finished up the Silverado Showdown in Napa, California this past weekend, and it was one for the books. The Buffs ended with a score of 860 after 4 consecutive days of play and 54 total holes. The score is going down in CU history as the 3rd best score for the women's lacrosse team. The team landed 3rd place overall. 2 standouts during the tournament were junior Brittany Fan and freshman Kirsty Hodgkins. They tied for 4th place with a total of 211 points. Fan recorded 14 birdies over the course of the showdown, which was the 5th best out of all the competitors. Hodgkins scored a bogey on hole number 9, but came back with 8 straight pars and a birdie on the last hole. Nice job, ladies. Keep up the good work.
The women's tennis team is finishing up their regular season this Sunday against the Oregon Ducks. The game will serve as a personal senior day for lone senior and team star Nuria Ormeño Ruiz. Ruiz has made quite an impact throughout her 4 years at CU, ranking top 25 in all-time singles wins at the school. Make Senior Day part of your Easter morning and honor Ruiz for all of her hard work Sunday at 10 a.m.
CU track and field star and jack of all trades Isaiah Oliver broke 3 school records last Wednesday. Oliver shattered the 10-year-old records at the California Invitational and scored 4,044 points after the first day of competition. He currently stands in first place following standout performances in the 100-meter dash, long jump, and 400-meter decathlon. Assistant coach Lindsay Malone said, quote, Isaiah's composure today was phenomenal. He competed with class and composure. She also added that his 400-meter was the most impressive thing she's ever seen.
For this week's trivia question, we have a question that any true Buffs fan should know the answer to. This year, 3 Buffs defensive backs are set to be taken in the NFL draft with Chidobe Awuzie, Akella Witherspoon, and Tedrick Thompson. In honor of Awuzie receiving an invite to the draft earlier this week, we ask you, when was the last time 3 defensive backs were taken out of Colorado in the same year? Stay tuned.
We have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we have more sports to talk about,
including a spectacular invitation for one of our football players.
and everyone's favorite informational segment, Buff Banter with Ali Monroy.
I have a story, and you know what? The Latinos have not been able to tell their story. Well, the Latino History Project was to put the history of Latinos in the school system in St. Vrain and Boulder Valley. And CU Boulder has been our main support in doing this. It is very important that we be proud of where we came from and say, I am who I am. I'm proud to be Latina, and I'm proud to be Boulder.
I've gotten a lot of shocking reactions when people find out that I'm 26 years old and I'm a freshman here at CU Boulder. I was in the Army for 8 years. I was in Afghanistan for 12 months in 2011. The worst part of my deployments was just seeing war and feeling that you're not safe. I decided to leave the military. I've always wanted to go to CU Boulder because of the outstanding education. Everybody made sure that I was well taken care of. I'm diving straight into calculus, physics, programming. I can be a veteran and I can be Boulder.
It's that time of year again, Buffs fans. Time to buy your sports pass, that is. The passes will be on sale for $99 until August 1st, when the price changes to $125. The pass includes admission to all home football games, plus the Rocky Mountain Showdown at Sports Authority Field. It also gives you access to claim tickets for all men's basketball games. Women's basketball, volleyball, soccer, and lacrosse games are all free with your Buff One card.
Football head coach Mike McIntyre believes in giving back to the community as much as he believes in his team. That's why the Colorado football team is hosting the 2017 Be the Match event. The goal of the event is to register people to be possible donors for those who have rare blood diseases. In the 7 years that McIntyre's teams have hosted the event, there have been 7 matches. This includes 2 Buffs players, Derek McCartney and Danny Galloway. The team will be in the Bulk Fieldhouse on Wednesday, April 19th from 8 a.m. until noon. The process is simple and only requires a mouth swab and providing some basic information. Head over to the event to meet some of your favorite players and maybe help make a difference in someone's life.
After a season that will go down in CU history as monumental, the 2017 edition of the football team has a lot to prove. With that, they have created a new off-season mantra to live by: champions do extra. This comes from wanting to reach a goal that they fell short of last year, becoming Pac-12 champions. Seniors on the team are trying to take ownership of the program and produce an environment where everyone knows what they need to do to be successful. Wide receiver Bryce Bobo explained. The older guys have to show the younger guys that you have to have work ethic now rather than developing it later. We have to get everyone focused and understand what our goal is, and that's to be in the Pac-12 championship and go from there.
Bobo and his fellow seniors aren't the only ones who see the importance in summer sessions for the team. Sophomore quarterback Steven Montez is determined to do his part as a rising leader. He wants to make the most out of mandatory strength and conditioning sessions as well as dedicating himself to studying film. Montez is determined to have everyone involved in player-led practices and make sure they are as productive as they can be. He believes all of this will make a difference come fall.
Putting in that extra work is what paid off for star defensive back Chidobe Awuzie, who has officially been invited to attend the 2017 NFL Draft. Awuzie was one of the first to institute the new mentality that now powers the Colorado football program. An invite to the draft is no small gesture. It's essentially the league betting that the former CU star will be a first-round pick. The bet chasing in would make Awuzie the first Buff since Jimmy Smith in 2011 to be taken in the first round.
Awuzie isn't the only Buff who is getting big-time attention from NFL teams. Ali Monroy is in studio to give you more information on which football players you may be seeing Sundays on the gridiron next year. Take it away, Ali.
Hey Buff fans, I'm Ali Monroy here to bring you this week's edition of Buff Banter. It's draft season in NFL circles, and for quite some time now, that hasn't meant much in the CU community. For the first time since 1950, the Buffs have gone 2 consecutive seasons without seeing a player selected in the NFL draft. That's all set to change this year. The Buffs have their most talented crop of players eyeing the NFL since 2011, when 2 former CU stars, Nate Solder and Jimmy Smith, were taken in the first round. This year's crop, as mentioned earlier in the show, is headlined by defensive back Swiss Army knife Chidobe Awuzie. Awuzie, who will be attending the draft in Philadelphia, is widely regarded as a first-round selection. If the experts are right, Awuzie would become the 25th all-time first-round selection from CU. Good enough for 24th most in the nation. Old number 4 isn't the only CU DB who's gaining big-time recognition, though. Akella Witherspoon is next up on our draft board. He has seen his stock skyrocket since the beginning of last season. Draft analysts currently see Spoon going in the 2nd or 3rd round. Tedrick Thompson completes the secondary trio. The ball hawk is expected to be picked late on the 3rd day of the draft. Not since the year 2000 have 3 CU defensive backs been selected in the same draft. And it doesn't end there. Defensive tackle Josh Tupou and quarterback Sefo Liufau are both projected to be selected in the late rounds, giving the Buffs a chance to have 5 players taken, the most the team has seen since 2003. And keep an eye on Jimmy Gilbert and Samson Kafaluo, who will likely be getting calls to join teams as undrafted free agents as soon as the draft concludes. Not a bad way to bounce back from a 2-year drought. Find out where your favorite players end up when the draft kicks off in my hometown of Philadelphia, April 27th. That's all the time I have for today. I'm Allie Monroy. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Allie. We need to step aside again, but coming up after the break, we will update you on the women's basketball team.
Also, Nathan Tung took to the streets of campus to learn a little bit more about our fellow students and what sports they enjoy. Stay tuned.
We the people.
We the people of the United States.
We're bringing in experts from CU Boulder Law School and introduces students to issues that are of national importance but have a tremendous impact on the small community of Ray. I think it really starts to develop those students into those informed citizens we would like them to become.
Do ordain and establish
This Constitution for the United States of America.
You can be a high school in Ray, Colorado and still be Boulder.
My biggest fear in life would be not amounting to anything. I decided I wanted to go to college because my parents never went.
The pre-collegiate program connects students with mentors to ensure that students get into college and graduate.
The best part about this program is the summer trips we take. The 2 weeks at CU, I've learned how stressful it is. That scares me, but in a way it does excite me. The biggest thing I've learned is just if you want to succeed, you have to be bold.
4 members of Colorado's women's basketball team were fortunate enough to be able to extend their 2016-17 season one more weekend. Haley Smith, Mackenzie Ellis, Kennedy Leonard, and Quinessa Collado participated in the USA Basketball 3x3 National Tournament last weekend. The event was held in the United States Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. The girls finished 3-2 in the tournament, reaching the semifinals before blowing out to the tournament champions in a 2-point loss.
CU women's basketball program gained 6'7" transfer from Sierra College. Jamie Curtis signed her national letter of intent Thursday morning. She comes to CU with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Head coach J.R. Payne says she is thrilled to have Curtis in the program. She promises to be an asset to the Buffs for the upcoming seasons. Just for the 2016-2017 season, Curtis averaged 6.8 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.1 blocked shots as a reserve for the Wolverines.
This week, we are bringing one of our favorite segments back, Man on the Street. Nathan Tung took a walk through campus to talk to some of the students that were milling about. He wanted to learn more about what everyone loves about sports and what their favorites are. So Nathan, down to you.
Hey CU Buff fans, I am here at the UMC Quad. Outside, it's a beautiful day as you can tell, and I am ready to do Man on the Street. For this week's edition of Man on the Street, I'm going to be asking people what they thought of CU sports of this year and what they look forward to next year. What is one sport that you think did really well this season or this past season since it's the end of the school year now?
Yeah, well, didn't football do really well for the first time?
Do you think any other sports did well?
Basketball was probably okay, right? That's about all I know.
Cool.
I really enjoy going to CU football games. I think they're a lot of fun, and I think we had a really great season.
I went to most of the football games. I don't really know how well they did, but it was a lot of fun, so I'm going to say football team.
Nice.
I thought it was football.
Why do you think it's football?
I thought I heard people say it was football.
I think football did the best, especially compared to the previous season. I think they improved a lot.
Which team are you most excited to watch?
Well, I'm graduating, so I won't be watching any. I've actually never been to a football game here either, but I'm excited to see like if they continue to do well, like with the team they have, and like keep building, because I think that's their problem, or was their problem.
I'm probably most excited to follow football again. I think it's a lot of fun, and basketball is fun as well, but don't know if football will be as good of a team as we had last year, but I can only hope.
Yeah, football. Just seems to be the biggest sport. Not really, a big sports guy otherwise. Maybe soccer, but like I don't really CU soccer team isn't very big, Yeah.
Probably hockey. I just think if I were to get into sports, hockey would be really fun to watch.
Probably football, but I'm also from Texas, so I kind of grew up watching it. But football just to see how they do this next season. I think we got some good recruits this year, and I want to see them play.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for Man on the Street. It's been nice talking to a bunch of CU students here today on this gorgeous day. And looks like we found out that most students actually follow football mostly. That's it for Man on the Street. I'm Nathan Tung. Back to you guys at the desk.
The ski season is officially over as the ski team held their banquet Wednesday night in Folsom Field. The team had a very good season, winning the RMISA Championship and finishing second in the NCAA Championships. Petra Hinsakova won the Dick Schoenberger Award for Best Skier. In the 8 races she competed in, she never finished lower than 5th, including 5 victories. Freshman phenom David Ketterer was awarded the Buddy Werner Memorial Award, given to the Best Male International Skier. Mads Strome won the Outstanding Career Award. In his 4 years at CU, Strome was selected to an All-American team 8 times, tying a team record. These were just a few of the numerous awards given out to the team. Great job, Buffs.
The women's soccer team is back in action for the spring following winter practices. Head coach Danny Sanchez was pleased with his squad's second game of the spring campaign, despite only having 12 healthy players on the roster. Pac-12 Players of the Year Taylor Korniak scored 2 goals in the second half of Sunday's game against Northern Colorado, helping secure the victory for her team. Defender Joss Origel assisted on the second goal on a long pass from the defensive end. The team has just 3 more games this spring season, the next being Saturday at noon against Wyoming.
With the end of the year nearing, we only have 2 more weeks to talk about our favorite Buffs and Athletes of the Week. We wouldn't be a credible sports broadcast if we didn't honor junior lacrosse player Darby Kiernan and senior track and field runner Jerron Thomas. Darby Kiernan led the number 5-6 Buffs to their first win in 7 meetings against the Stanford Cardinal on Friday. Kiernan assisted her team in remaining undefeated in conference play. The Buffs are now 4-0 in the MPSF as well. Jerron Thomas deserves recognition after running away with a combined 11 event titles at the CU Invite. Thomas won the event title with an impressive PR time of 50.94. This is the first time he has clocked a sub-51 time in his career. It also gives him the 8th fastest time in the NCAA West region as of today. Congrats, guys. We have to take one last break, but we will return to bring you the answer to this week's stumper of a trivia question.
And, of course, we have the fastest and hottest segment of the show, Rapid Fire, with Jack Stern.
Hi, I'm Jack Stern. Stick around for an exciting, spicy edition of Rapid Fire after the break.
Wow, I don't know if the heat from outside is traveling into our studio or what, but it is warm in here now. No? Wait, I see Jack Stern is in here, which means that it is time for the hottest segment of the show, Rapid Fire.
Jack Stern with this week's edition of Rapid Fire. This Sunday, the women's tennis team looks to snap a 5-game losing skid as they take on the Oregon Ducks in Boulder at 10 a.m. After starting the season on a 4-game win streak, it's been a tough season for these ladies as they've been shut out in 5 of their 10 losses. Coming off a tie 2 weeks ago against Stanford, the men's golf team takes on the Oklahoma Sooners this weekend in the annual Maxwell Tournament. After placing third out of 18 teams in the Silverado Showdown earlier this week, the women's golf team looks ahead to the Pac-12 Championship in 2 weeks, which will be hosted in Tucson. The men's track team is out in California competing in both the Mount Sac Relay and the Brian Clay Invitational Tournament this weekend. The women's lacrosse team travels to Southern California to take on the USC Trojans today at 6 p.m. Tune in right after we're done here at SportsMag to catch all the action. That's all for this week's edition of Rapid Fire. Back to you guys at the desk.
It's time for us to finally answer that trivia question we asked you earlier. In case you forgot, we asked, when was the last time 3 defensive backs were taken out of Colorado in the same year? The last time 3 defensive backs were picked in the same draft, you'd have to throw it back nearly 2 decades to the year 2000. The group was highlighted by Brian Kelly in the 3rd round. He was followed by Damon Wheeler and Rashidi Barnes.
This week's Tweet of the Week comes to you from NFL Total Access. Following the excitement around CU football star Chidobe Awuzie possibly joining the NFL, he was recently featured on the NFL Network talk show. The tweet features a quote from Awuzie describing what inspires him to play with such intensity. He said, quote, "I would always watch cheetahs, lions, tigers, and how they get after their prey. And that's kind of how I play." This comes as no surprise as Cheeto tallied 265 tackles in his career at Colorado.
With the school year winding down, it's time for seniors to start saying goodbye.
Alex and I are graduating in a few weeks, so let's see what our friends here at SportsMag had to say about us.
Hey, so apparently my co-anchor is still putting on his makeup. Hopefully he'll be here for the show.
I was probably doing server, then I heard a loud thud through the other side of the wall, and then turns out you fell off of the table.
We just learned everything together. We learned how to do the iris on the camera and how to white balance.
So Alex, we've had some great conversations. You're so easy to talk to and you're just always around.
Definitely are sort of a staple on the show, and we're there every week.
Always cool to talk to him about sports or cycling or, whatever's going on.
Alex always knows how to light up the room. He's always so funny to talk to, and I'm so glad that I was able to meet him through SportsMag.
He would always invite me to help out with his hockey broadcasts, which was really enjoyable for me.
First ever live broadcast for hockey. Alex just kind of set the tone, and it made it very just conversational.
You've grown so much throughout the time that I've known you, and I'm so excited to see where you end up, and I can't wait to see you on the weather someday.
No doubt in my mind you're going to be a successful meteorologist one day and tell the weather to millions of people.
It's hard to talk about someone you don't know, and it's also hard to talk about someone you know so well.
I don't even know what to say. None of that had anything to do with our show. But on that note, let's get to the best part of Friday, SportsMag.
She just, showed me the ropes and let me get involved, and I'm really grateful for that.
You really showed me how to do a lot of things, and not so much this year, but I have seen that you are the one to teach people how to do things.
It's really cool to be able to work with you, especially in SportsMag. You always are willing to teach me new things.
I feel like half the time on Thursday nights she would be standing up and helping someone.
She was just the nicest person, and that just continued. Even every time I talked to her, she was so nice.
Just all around, wholehearted person, and we're definitely going to miss having her around at SportsMag.
You're going to be so successful. You're already so successful, more successful than any of the rest of us. You're already working at 9 News.
I hope I get to work with you in the future. I really hope that this is not where we say goodbye, because you're really good at what you do.
Ansley, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for this show. It's been such an awesome time working with you, and I'm going to miss you so much next year.
Thanks for bringing me to SportsMag, and I can't wait to see where your career goes after graduation. I know you're going to do great things.
Well, that'll do it for us here at SportsMag this week. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
That was definitely a fun show. I wish I could do it again. But since we're graduating, I can't. Sad face.
It's okay, Alex. The real world will be fun too. For CU Sports Mag, we say goodbye until next week, but for the two of us, we say goodbye for good.
Thanks for a great few years, everyone. We have one more show for you next week. You don't want to miss that.